guys, I'm Ellie and welcome to my channel. Oh my god, it feels so weird to say that. It feels really good, but it feels so weird to say welcome to my channel. Anyway, by the looks of the title, you can already guess that this is a travel related video. So I'm going to be talking all about the first stages for anyone that wants to go away traveling. So if you're someone who's never been traveling before and you want some tips, or maybe you just can't wait to get away traveling again, then this video is for you, so stay tuned. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the 6 main things that you need to take into consideration when you're booking to go traveling away. So what I'll do is I'll put timestamps for each point of the video in the description bar so that if you want to skip to a specific time, then you can just click on it. Sorry guys, I've also got some notes down here, so if you see me glance down, it's just looking at the notes. I'm going to be talking about visas, flights, insurance, hostels, money, and your itinerary. So with all that being said, we'll start with visas. Might not be something that you think that you need to take into consideration when you're traveling. I definitely didn't, but it is definitely something you need to think about. There are quite a few countries, depending on which country you're actually from, that require you to obtain a visa before you can actually go to their country. So for example, I lived in Australia for 2 years. When I went to Australia, I had to get a year's visa to be able to go there and be able to work and travel. And then when I travelled Southeast Asia, it was a little bit different. So most countries in Southeast Asia, you can actually just go, and as you go through into the border, they will give you a stamp and that will give you a visa straight away. So you don't have to do anything before you go, which is amazing. But then there are countries that you have to pre-get a visa. And for some reason, I just didn't think to do that. So it's definitely really important that you look for which countries you're going to and whether you need to get a visa before you get there. So for example, with me, I went to Vietnam and I did not realise that being from the UK, you have to have a visa before you go. You have to apply online and it has to be accepted before you go, weeks before you go, to be able to go to the country for 30 days. It didn't cross my mind at all that I needed to do that. So I just turned up at the airport and basically just got shouted at in Vietnamese by some security guard because I didn't have a visa. Luckily, the UK has an agreement with Vietnam, whereas if you don't have a visa, you can go into the country for 15 days. So I guess it's not the end of the world. I could still go into the country, but I couldn't do the full 30 days I wanted to. I could only do 15 days. But by that stage, I was just happy that I was in the country. But yeah, make sure that that doesn't happen to you guys. Definitely pre-book your visas if you need to. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is flights. Now, when you book your flights to go travelling, it can obviously be very overwhelming with how you can go about booking them. I recommend definitely using some sort of comparison site to get the best and cheapest deal. If you're backpacking, you want to kind of go with the cheapest deals anyway. So the websites that I used to have a look at were obviously Skyscanner. Then there's other websites such as Kayak, Momondo, and also Kiwi. Kiwi's the one that I actually went with in the end, that I booked my flight out to when I first went to Australia. Now with comparison sites, you can actually sort the order of results by cheapest flights first. So I obviously did that, and just be prepared. It's probably going to be the longest route to get to that destination possible. By that I mean I got an extremely cheap flight out to Australia, but it took me 2 days to get there. So it's really up to you whether you want to do it the cheap way or the quickest way. But just bear in mind, the quickest way to get there is definitely not going to be the cheapest. So you can look on websites such as Skyscanner and you can have a look at all the different airlines, all the different flights, all the different times, and you can basically choose which one suits you best. So if you are backpacking, you're probably going to want to do it the cheapest way. Just bear in mind that if you're going to a far country, you might have a few stop-offs on the way. So yeah, for me, for example, I think my flight out to Australia was something like crazy, like £400, because it took 2 days to get there and I had to stop off in 2 different countries, which I guess if you time well, you can actually use that to your advantage and you can go off traveling in those countries for a few days before your next flight. Mine, it was not long enough for me to really go out and explore. I actually had a 12-hour stopover in Bali, but by the time I got to Bali, I was so shattered, I ended up just going to a hotel and sleeping till my next flight to Australia. But yeah, of course, use the comparison sites. They are amazing. A flight normally from the UK to Australia would have been about double that, even more, and I got it for about £400 because I did it the cheap way. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is insurance. It is so important when you go traveling that you get some type of travel insurance, just to make sure you've got yourself covered if anything were to happen. It's really important as well, guys, you make sure you get the insurance before you go away traveling, and you don't get it when you're there. You'll find that if you're already traveling and then you get insurance, it's going to be a bit different and it's going to probably be more expensive. That's just because most travel sites like to cover you from before you've left than if you've already left. So because I went from Australia to Southeast Asia, I had to get a specific type of travel insurance that covered me from me already being out traveling. If you're already out traveling and you're going somewhere, you can get travel insurance. It's just going to be different to travel insurance you would get from being at home and then going traveling. For travel insurance, it's really good to also use comparison sites. Sites like Money Supermarket, that's actually how I found my insurance. And then you're going to get bombarded with a whole list of insurance. Now, it is not essential to get the most expensive, best one. However, depending on where you're going, if you have any equipment, filming equipment, expensive devices, things like that, you're going to want to adjust your searches to suit that. So for me, I literally went out with nothing. So I basically went for the most basic one. I went onto Money Supermarket. I think I sorted it by cheapest first and clicked it. And my insurance was with a company called Alpha, which is a very basic travel insurance company. However, I didn't have any problems with it. It covered me for what I needed to be covered with, and that's all that really mattered. If you are backpacking, you might want to have a look at World Nomads. They're a really, really good travel insurance company for backpackers. They can cover you for multiple destinations that you're going to. Just note that it is a bit more expensive. I definitely had a look at them and the price was quite a bit higher. So just bear that in mind, but they are really, really good. From people that I met traveling that use that insurance, they only had really good things to say. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is hostels. When you go traveling, you're obviously going to want to stay in hostels. It's the cheapest, most efficient and fun way of traveling around, and you get to meet the most amazing people from all different countries, all different walks of life, and you get to have a great time with them. Hostels are a great way to meet new people and make friends for life, so I definitely recommend traveling around staying in hostels. Now, with that being said, you're obviously going to want to have a look online at different hostels you can stay in to make sure you're not staying in, really dirty, dingy places. So it's really important that you do your research and pre-book your hostels before you go. I do not recommend risking it and just turning up just in case. So there's a couple of different websites that I used for booking hostels, and that was Hostel World and booking.com. There is a big difference between the two. Booking.com is obviously a lot more broader and doesn't just include hostels, whereas Hostel World mostly focuses on hostels. I did find with Hostel World that the prices were sometimes a bit higher than on booking.com, so it's really good to have a look at both. You can just go on, type in the destination, city, town you're going to, and it will bring up a whole list of the hostels or cheap apartments in that area. Depending whether you're on booking.com, it will show you apartments as well, whereas Hostel World will just show you the hostels. And you can have a look on there at the different ones people put reviews on, so you can have a look through all the reviews and have a look through all the photos, just to make sure that where you're staying is definitely going to be suitable and give you the best possible stay you can have. So now I'm going to be talking about money. When I went traveling, I definitely did it the most budget way possible. I traveled around quite as if I was on a tight budget so that I could spread my money further. With that being said, it is still really important to save money before you go traveling. You don't want to have to get out traveling and then halfway through or only a month through or a couple of weeks in have to call home and ask them to send you money or worse, a plane ticket home. What I recommend to save money is to open up a savings account with whichever bank you're with at the moment. It's really easy and free to do, and it really helps you put money away. So what I did was every week or month, whenever I got paid, I would take some of that money, put it straight into my savings account and just not look at it or touch it. And it really, really helped me save because I knew that that money was specifically tucked away for when I was traveling. I also recommend before you go traveling to get a Monzo card. Now there are other companies like Monzo that do a travel card. However, I think Monzo was amazing. I used it when I went to Southeast Asia and it was absolutely fantastic. So Monzo card is essentially another bank account and it's basically a debit card. But when you travel around, it does not cost you any fees to take money out up to a certain amount. I think it was something like £200 you can take out for free. After you take out £200, it starts to charge you a tiny bit of interest. But unlike if I use my normal bank card, that would charge me interest straight away. So it's really, really good and beneficial to use something like a Monzo card. You can also use it with contactless payments and also card payments for free as well. And I think that works in most countries. It might be almost every country, but I'll have to double check that. So getting something like a money travel card is definitely something I would recommend, especially when you're going backpacking to multiple countries. Another thing that I would recommend you do with regards to money is to map out an itinerary of your spending and budget for how much you're going to spend per month, or how much you're going to spend per country, or how much you're going to spend per day, or how much you're going to spend per week. It's really important that you do something like that before you go, just so you get an idea of how much money you need to save and how much money you're going to be spending. So the last thing I'm going to be talking about in this video is your itinerary itself. Itinerary. Your itinerary. It sounds so weird when I keep saying it. Okay, your itinerary. So mapping out my itinerary when I was backpacking, it was really fun thing to do before I went because it gets you so excited. You can have a look at all the places you want to go and it gets you nice and organised before you go. So what I did for looking at my itinerary was literally just looking on Google, also joining Facebook groups I found really helpful. So you can look at different travel groups on Facebook. There's actually a really good one called Girls Love Travel. It's a really good Facebook group and people give lots of different travel tips and travel advice, so stuff like that is really good to join before you go traveling, just to give you an idea. Looking on Google and literally just typing in, for example, say you're going to Cambodia, typing in on Google, Cambodia, best travel locations for a backpacker, something like that. And you can literally have a look at the endless articles that people have written on different advice of the best places to travel to, the best places to eat, the best places to stay, the best sites to see. Honestly, Google was my best friend before traveling, and you can just have a look and take so much information in. Also, travel books are an amazing thing to do. The Lonely Planet has released Oh, a bird just flew into the window. Oh my God. Are you okay? I think it's okay. I hope it's okay. So The Lonely Planet has released hundreds of books on traveling to different locations around the world. Their books are amazing. They might not be the cheapest, but if you wanted to invest in a really, really good travel book, then definitely check out The Lonely Planet. So that's it guys for my first ever video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I just wanted to make a quick, short, fun video about my top travel tips for when you're looking to go traveling, maybe for the first time, second time. I just hope that this was an informative video for you guys. So obviously in the UK, we're going into another lockdown, which really sucks. But if you're like me, I keep thinking about when I can go traveling again. Or if you're, new to traveling, you're thinking about going traveling, the lockdown has made you want to just get out of the country and go and see another country, then I really hope that this video was informative for you. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and also pop anything in the comments if you want to see any other travel videos or any other kind of videos from me. Just let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to check them out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.